Good afternoon, Mr. Secretary. There are a number of different questions I'd like to ask, but my time is limited. I'd like to first mention something that Commissioner Gorton brought up, and that is the question of transition. And I think this Commission ought to have a recommendation, particularly with respect to the intelligence community and those cabinet agencies that are charged with protecting the safety of the United States in terms of the way the transition takes place. It seems as though things are done on the fly. People have other objectives. They have many things to do coming in. It appears from what we have heard that the administration officials leaving government and Clinton administration were willing to be generous with their time, but they didn't always connect up with the right people, it seems. And I think we ought to have a recommendation with respect to institutionalizing transition in these times which require immediate response to issues. I want to focus on two things, I guess. One, I'm astounded that this past week, a week ago, we saw on television a videotape of the Predator. Now, the Predator, we were told, was of such a high security classification that the classification itself was secret. We couldn't even mention the name of the classification. And I just don't understand how a videotape of the Predator comes into the public access in that way. And I just make that as a commentary. With respect to the your comment about domestic intelligence and what we knew as of September 10th, 2001, your statement was that you knew of no intelligence to suggest that planes would be hijacked in the United States and flown into buildings. Well, it is correct that the United States intelligence community had a great deal of intelligence suggesting that the terrorists back since 1994 had plans, discussed plans, to use airplanes as weapons, loaded with fuel, loaded with bombs, loaded with explosives. The Algerians had a plan in '94 to fly a plane into the Eiffel Tower. The Bojinka plot in '95 discussed flying an explosive-laden small plane into CIA headquarters. Certainly CIA was well aware of that. There were plans in '97 using a UAV. In '98, an Al-Qaeda-connected group talked about flying a commercial plane into the World Trade Center. In '98, there was a plot broken up by the Turkish intelligence involving the use of plane as a weapon. In '99, there was a plot involving exploding a plane at an airport. Also in '99, there was a plot regarding an explosive-laden hang glider. In '99 or in 2000, there was a plot regarding hijacking a 747. And in August of 2001, there was information received by our intelligence community regarding flying a plane into the Nairobi embassy, our Nairobi embassy. And so I suggest that when you have this threat spike in the summer of 2001 that said something huge was going to happen, and the FAA circulates, as you mentioned, a warning which does nothing to alert people on the ground to the potential threat of jihadist hijacking which only, it seems to me, despite the fact that they read into the congressional record the potential for a hijacking threat in the United States in the summer of 2001, it never gets to any actionable level. Nobody at the airports is alerted to any particular threat. Nobody flying the planes takes action of a defensive posture. I understand that going after al-Qaeda overseas is one thing, but protecting the United States is another thing. And it seems to me that a statement that we could not conceive of such a thing happening really does not reflect the state of our intelligence community as of 2001, sir.
A couple of comments. I quite agree with you. There were a number of reports about potential hijacking. I even remember comments about UAVs. I even have seen things about private aircraft hitting something. But I do not recall ever seeing anything in the period since I came back to government about the idea of taking a commercial airliner and using it as a missile. I just don't recall seeing it. And if maybe you do, Dick? You?
No, I do not.
Do you?
Well, the fact is that our staff has, and the joint inquiry before us, I must say, has come up with 8 or 10 examples which were well known in the intelligence community. My goodness, there was an example of an individual who flew a small plane and landed right next to the White House.
I remember.
Crash landed that. The CIA knew that there was a plot to fly an explosive-laden plane into CIA headquarters. So we do, within our intelligence community, have very much in mind the fact that this is a potential technique. You put that together with the fact that there is a heightened threat level. People like Director Tenet, people like Richard Clarke are running around, as they say, with their hair on fire in the summer of 2001, knowing something big is going to happen, and yet everybody is looking overseas.
Let me make 2 comments on that. One, the spike in that summer, you're correct. There was a good deal of concern about it. And you suggested that warnings did not go out. My recollection is a lot of warnings did go out. Now, I have nothing to do with warnings inside the United States. We had to do with warnings of force protection ex-U.S. And the State Department, Colin testified to that this morning, that the State Department had a whole lot of alerts. So there was a tension to that. The second thing I'd say is how to put this. In 3 years, since I've been back in the Pentagon, there have been people running around with their hair on fire a lot of times. It isn't like it's once or twice or thrice. We are seeing so much intelligence, so much information that is of deep concern that we have scrambled airplanes, we have sent ships to sea to protect them. We have gone up to a high level of alert on a number of occasions because of these types of spikes in intel activity. In most instances when something does not follow. Maybe because we went to high alert. Maybe because they go to school on us.
Let me just follow it up briefly to say that we knew that terrorists had attacked us in '93 at the World Trade Center. We knew in the Millennium Plot in December of '99 that al-Qaeda had an operative sleeper in the United States or coming to the United States who planned to blow up LAX. That was interdicted. They were on high alert during the Millennium Plot, and they thought about domestic terrorism in that regard. And now, as we get into 2001, it just seems to me like we're looking at the white truck that had everyone captivated during the hunt for the sniper. Everybody was looking in the wrong direction. Why weren't people thinking about protecting the United States? We knew that there were 2 al-Qaeda operatives in the United States, and yet that information does not get circulated. It doesn't get to the people at the airports. It doesn't go on Most Wanted on television, where people could identify such individuals. We know that a man named Moussaoui has been identified as somebody who took lessons on just how to steer an airplane, not how to take it off, not how to land it, just how to steer it. So it seems to me when you make the statement, sir, that we didn't know that planes might be used as weapons in the summer of 2001, I just have to take issue with that.
Well, I didn't say we didn't know. I said I didn't know. And if I just was handed a civil aviation circular that people did know, and they sent it out on June 22nd, 2001.
They sent it out, but nobody did a thing about it. Nobody got anybody at our borders to identify individuals who might be suspect, to give them greater scrutiny.
Well,
somebody was found simply through the good works of a customs agent who used his native intelligence and picked up probably the 20th hijacker in that way.
Let me put something into some context. The Department of Defense, as Senator Kerry has indicated earlier, did not have responsibility for the borders. It did not have responsibility for the airports. And the fact that I might not have known something, it ought not to be considered unusual. Our task was to be oriented out of this country.
I understand.
And to then defend against attacks from abroad. And a civilian aircraft being hijacked was a law enforcement matter to be handled by law enforcement authorities and aviation authorities. And that is the way our government was organized and arranged. So those questions you're posing are good ones, and they're valid, and they ought to be asked, but they ought to be asked of people who had the statutory responsibility for those things, and it seems to me that you've had that opportunity.
The only reason I put them to you, sir, was because of your comment
Right.
in your opening statement.
Right. I was confessing ignorance.
Okay. Thank you very much.